What the failure of Florida's Amendment 3 means for cannabis legalization. In a major defeat for cannabis legalization, Florida voters have rejected Amendment 3, which would have legalized recreational marijuana for adults 21 and older. The amendment, which failed to get the 60% voter support it needed to pass, could have been the start of a new green wave across the country. The Sunshine State is already home to the country's largest medical marijuana market, $2 billion in annual sales, but it missed.
Damn, Danielle, $2 billion in annual sales. So today we're going to have a look at what all this means. The failure of Florida's Amendment 3, what does that mean for cannabis legalization, especially in Florida when it comes to the recreational use for adults. Now, I'm going to have a look at this and sort of react to what was done behind the scenes, a few things that have come to light since, and see where things may be likely to go in the future, and see what you guys think about it as well. But before we get into that, if you guys do get any value from this video or enjoy this series, please do like, share, comment, drop a comment down below. These things really help out a lot, and of course subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's get straight on into it.
It's the opportunity to become the first red state in the South to launch an adult use market. Florida, which has a population of 20 million people and attracts more than 140 million tourists every year.
140 million tourists every year. Like, you can imagine how like that could cause a lot of booming in the industry. Like, a lot of people could come for the canna culture. I'm just thinking out loud here, but let's go.
Was expected to swell to a $6 billion cannabis market by 2026 if Amendment 3 passed, according to marijuana sales data firm Headset. Voters will have to wait another 2 years before cannabis can get back on the ballot. The amendment received more than 57% of the vote, a strong majority, but not enough to surpass the 60% threshold required in the state of Florida.
Okay.
The measure even had the backing of former president and now president-elect Donald Trump. The night's biggest loser is Tallahassee-based Trulieve, which spent $145 million backing Smart and Safe Florida.
$145 million down the drain. That is absolutely crazy. And I do remember Trump was talking about that, and I think he actually tweeted about it, or was it on Truth Social or something? I don't know. He wrote a post about it saying that he completely backed it, but it just did not pass. Let's find out why.
Organization running the Yes on 3 campaign. The campaign raised a total of $153 million, according to campaign contribution data from the Florida Department of State Division of Elections. The night's biggest winner is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who had declared war on the cannabis ballot measure and spent an estimated $50 million of taxpayer money on radio and television ads to successfully convince enough voters to vote no.
Bro, that is crazy. The amount of money that they spent against this initiative is absolutely crazy. $50 million of taxpayer money was spent on ads to convince people to vote against Amendment 3. Wowed. They're definitely trying to keep you going to Big Pharma, keep you in Big Pharma's pockets. To lie in their pockets, make them happy. I mean, I understand you don't want everywhere to smell like flour and smell like weed. Okay, I get it. But also, using taxpayers' money to sway their thoughts or sway the way they vote on a certain measure is pretty crazy. I understand it's been happening for years. Heck, it happens every election. It happens around every local election. Federal election happens all the time in elections all over the world. But I still think it's absolutely crazy. But $50 million spent on, by Ron DeSantis. $50 million of taxpayers' money spent on ads against this
on television ads to successfully convince enough voters to vote no. Ken Griffin, the hedge fund billionaire who...
I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's funny. This video is at 421 likes.
moved his firm Citadel to Miami from Chicago in 2022, had also come out against legalization. Griffin, a Florida resident, donated $12 million to the Vote No on 3 campaign. And in an op-ed published in the Miami Herald, to the Vote No on 3 campaign. Griffin, a Florida resident, donated $12 million to the Vote No on 3 campaign.
$12 million to the Vote No on 3 campaign. So the Vote No on 3, you know, they make everything catchy. Vote No on 3. Vote No on 3. Amendment 3 sucks. Make sure you, and they do some rhyming shit or whatever, but $12 million, a resident of Florida, this guy obviously got fat pockets to donate 12 million bags, But the point is, a lot of the people who actually consume and use flower for medical reasons, they're not the millionaires, they're not the billionaires, they're not those people. A lot of them are the people who cannot afford traditional medicine. They cannot afford going to the doctor and getting these drugs from the pharmacy that cost so much. So it's pretty interesting that a lot of these people are spending so much money against these ads to say vote no on 3, etc., 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 when it's probably just going to hurt the smaller, law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. Interesting point, eh? Just something I'm just thinking about right now looking at
Bid
this.
$12 million to the Vote No
12
on 3
million
campaign.
bags.
And in an op-ed published in the Miami Herald earlier this year, Griffin cautioned voters not to repeat the mistakes of states like California, Colorado, and New York, all of which have legalized recreational cannabis. Griffin wrote, quote, "No one wants the effects of widespread legalization of marijuana, skyrocketing crime, suffering among children, a decline in the quality of life in Florida's vibrant neighborhoods, but Amendment 3 would make it inevitable."
Now, that's something I literally disagree with. Like, yes, Colorado, California, New York, all blue states, all have legalized recreational cannabis, but there are also red states that have legalized recreational cannabis. And I personally don't think that recreational cannabis is tied to widespread skyrocketing in crime, suffering in children, or a decline in the quality of your vibrant neighborhoods. I personally don't think that. I think that everything needs to be regulated to some point so that it does not fall into the hands of children, absolutely. But is it linked to skyrocketing crime? I definitely don't think so. I think in these places like Cali, out here in Colorado, the fact that they are not prosecuting crimes when they occur is what leads to skyrocketing crime. The fact that there were all types of open borders, unvetted people coming in, or lots of different things lead to skyrocketing crime. Not the fact that people are recreationally smoking in their homes. Like, I'm about to blaze something up after the show, but am I going to go and commit a crime after that?
Brady Cobb, the son of one of Florida's most prolific pot smugglers of the 1980s, who started his own legal marijuana company called Sunburn Cannabis in 2021, calls the failure of Amendment 3 a big blow to the state's marijuana economy and the national momentum of legalization. Cobb, whose company generated $30 million in revenue this year from its 13 medical marijuana dispensaries.
Bro, $13 million. $30 million. Guys, you cannot tell me that the cannabis industry is not booming. You cannot tell me that there's not potential in this, even if it's legalized at a federal level, for the government to tax it as they do with everything else and make money off of it. Like, there's too many benefits to it. You know, aside from the health benefits, the fact that people would not be put in jail for low-level petty offenses when they are literally legal in other states within the U.S. So in one state, something is illegal, but in another state, it's legal. I know that's how things go. I get it, but you can't tell me that there's not profit in this.
The company generated $30 million in revenue this year from its 13 medical marijuana dispensaries.
This company was set up in 2021 and it generated $13 million. I keep saying 13. $30 million from its 13 dispensaries. And it was set up in 2021.
Says, quote,
"Let that sink in."
"Politically, it's a bad moment. This is going backwards. This is going to be perceived as very negative by the whole industry." Shanita Penny, the co-executive director of the Coalition for Cannabis Policy, Education, and Regulation, says the failure of Amendment 3 will, quote, "signal a slowdown in the momentum of legalization." She says, quote, "We will continue to see the illicit market control this space." Emily Paxia, the co-founder of San Francisco-based cannabis hedge fund.
The truth is, I don't even think the illicit market will control this space. I think that in states where home grows are legal, where it is you're medically able to grow, people will just grow. And in places where it's not legal, people will still just grow. You know, that's the truth about it. People will grow regardless. Once you get into growing, you're probably not going to hit up the illicit market unless you run out of your homegrown. And that's just the truth about it. So I definitely think that this is hurting more than it's helping the industry. All these efforts that they put out, all the money spent to block Amendment 3, really sad to see.
Which has invested in many companies with a large presence in the state, says she is not downtrodden. The companies operating in the nation's $30 billion economy spread across 38 states have grown accustomed to roadblocks while operating in an industry that is still federally illegal. She says, quote, "The industry is used to getting knocked down. We will keep standing back up."
Hell yeah.
Despite the defeat of Amendment 3, Paxia believes there is hope on the horizon. A lawsuit filed by legendary litigator David Boies and other attorneys at Boies, Schiller, Flexner is still in play. The lawsuit, against Attorney General Merrick Garland, on behalf of several cannabis companies in Massachusetts, is seeking to challenge the federal prohibition of marijuana and the government's ability to interfere with state-regulated cannabis programs. For full coverage, check out Will Yakowitz's piece on Forbes.com.
Interesting. So again, I think that this is just signaling where things are going to go and how long it'll actually take before things become federally legal, because there's still a lot of people, powerful figures, that do not want to see this federally legal. Obviously, it will cause a lot of financial strain to the big pharma if this becomes federally legal, because you'll no longer have to go to the pharmacies to get the to get all these expensive drugs that cost pennies on the dollar to produce, and they charge you so much for. So they definitely have a lot of incentive in it for these folks. So I think that we just need to keep on pushing, because as they just said, it's still an illegal, federally illegal industry which we're operating in. But despite that, it's $1 billion industry, multi-billion dollar industry operating across 38 states, and soon to be more, hopefully. So let's keep on pushing. But I want to find out what you guys think about that. Drop it in the comments down below. What do you think about Florida's failed Amendment 3 bid? I personally think it would have probably been a good thing. A lot of people did cite some negatives with Amendment 3, saying that it will just put the cannabis plant into the hands of some of the big companies. I don't know, but let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments down below. And if you guys want to find out more about what's going on in the industry, in particular when it comes to your 2A rights and medical marijuana cards, then click this video coming up on screen, because that's coming up right now.